If you look at the way that religion presents God, you know, like in Judaism, but this is in pretty much all the major faiths, Christianity as well. Like God is our Father, God is our King, and you know, in all the prayers, God is our Father, God is our King. We think of God this way in the prayers, and then you get to the next step in Judaism, in like David's Psalms, like God is our close friend or lover, that we can talk to God as like an equal, and then you take it another leap to like mysticism, to like Kabbalah or Christian mysticism, and then you're getting to God is actually not outside of us, that we should be looking outside of us for God. God is the highest part of us. And that if you look within, then you find God. If you look outside yourself, you're always searching for God.
I like that.
So you either can always be searching for God or you can find God.
And connecting, actually that's, it could be connected.
Yes, because then you can
To God
connect
in yourself.
directly to God.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But what happens is,
That's the truth.
and then what you recognize,
For anyone.
then what you recognize at this point, when you've connected with the God within you, when you've connected with God directly through you, and you realize that God is the highest part of you, then you realize that you become the listening friend or lover. You become the societal leader, the expert, the king to others. You become the protective parent to existence, to the world around you. That you become God to others, and people look through you to God. You become the sources of guidance and protection and expertise and everything else. And
Conduit.
Because you're a conduit, exactly. And that's the key, to recognize that, so everyone's somewhere on this spectrum of recognizing that there is a creator of some sort, but when we get to the highest part, we realize we are that we are projections of God within this world, and then we can connect inward. Exactly.
But it's interesting because if you even take it to a further level, if you really get into that, then thoughts backed by emotion equal manifestation.
Yes.
And that is
That is
really
exactly what it
true.
is. Yes.
Thoughts backed by emotion equal manifestation.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've experienced it.
Yes.
It's
Explain would you an example of that?
I lived in.
Whatever you think about, there is feeling attached into that.
You got to experience.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah?
experience it.
When you're feeling about something, that's what leads you to take action.
Yes.
Well, it's also what I was saying about the GPS. That the whole point, I didn't mean that like metaphorically. I meant that literally. That's actually the way the world works. If you were to take that a step further, what I was saying about the GPS can connect it to this idea, because ultimately it's like we have three parts of ourselves. We have the sort of male part, the female part, and the child part. Biologically, the male shares, the female receives, that manifests within herself something different from what she's received, and the child allows that interaction to take place through itself and sort of harmonizes that. So now if we think about it, the male is sort of the initiator, female is, in this case, there's the initiator, the responder, and the allower or harmonizer. Or the creator, the creation, and the result of the interaction between the two, sort of harmonizing of those. So when I say creator and creation, I don't just mean like metaphorically. I mean we are the creator and the creation and everything. That there is the creator projecting through us. We are the projection of the creator in this world, experiencing our creation from the perspective of the creation.
Partner.
But we are more than the partner, because we are the partner and we are the partner of the partner, because we are the creator. So like that God is not separate from us.
Right.
That when you really get down to it, there is only us. And I don't mean us. I mean like for me there's only me. For you there's only you. Because there is only creator and creation, and that's happening through you. That you are the sun and the earth, and your attention is the life-giving existence, the life-giving sunshine that gives rise to life on the earth. You are that whole paradigm, but now it's not just the sun and the earth, which is just a reflection of the reality. It is all of reality. You are the source and the creation. And it's all happening through you. And so there's a part of you that can look up to the creator and pray, and there's a part of you that can look down to your creation and thank it for providing you responses to your requests. And ultimately, then when you take it that like final step there, then you recognize that most of our interactions, ideally with ourselves, would be from the place of the creator interacting with our creation, because then we're really good creators. When we're but it's not from a place of looking at what we don't want and then ignoring our creation as we try to create something else. It would be working with our creation. It would be looking at what we do want and then allowing our creation, which is now like acting like a GPS, to guide us along. And then our thoughts, our feelings, our instincts, the responsive ones, will let us know how to get to the things that we initiated. So we say, I'd like to experience this. We rehearse it in our minds. We imagine it. And then we let ourselves be guided toward it by our creation. So from this perspective, it's actually we, the creator, can say, this is what I'd like to experience. Imagine in your mind, rehearse it in your mind, where you're actually already creating it in a world before this one. And then your creation can say, I see that. We can make that happen. This is what you would need to do. If you do this right now, and then you talk to this person over here, and don't forget to go here because there's going to be someone there you don't know yet, but you're going to meet this person, and you just take the turn-by-turn directions, and you listen to your turn-by-turn directions from your creation, which is doing its best to accommodate you, the creator, jumping into your field of vision because it wants your attention, like messengers accommodating the king, like a spouse really wanting to please, her husband. Ultimately, that we would initiate, and then the whole world jumps to please us because it wants our attention, because our attention is existence itself. Now, obviously, when we look at what we don't want, we're actually, if we look at it from this perspective, you okay?
I have just having a cramp in my, what is this? No. What, is that the
hamstring?
Yeah, hamstring. That's a hamstring.
Do you want to? Well, okay.
I
So
think it's just water.
well, everything is our creation communicating with us. So since that happened right then, what did that make you feel? What was your reaction to the cramp?
To what?
Let's just
cramp?
just play along with this for a moment.
I wanted to keep listening to you. I didn't want to get my attention away, and I was in pain, so I was trying to get the pain away. That's all. I was trying to stretch.
So how have you been feeling like you've been trying to listen to yourself, but it seems like things have kept distracting you from what your main focus has been?
That's very interesting.
Because
that's really interesting. Because I've been saying, if I wake up every morning and I say I hate my job. I swear, I hate my job. No, I hate my job. And everyone's been telling me.
Do you do it while you stretch like this?
No, I'm just doing this to like, I played tennis this morning for a couple hours.
So it's funny because I was like starting to feel like, not numb, but like I'm sitting in one place. With the meditation, you're just like sitting.
Oh, you're not finished. Okay.
No, I'm finished. No, it's just very interesting. How have I not listened to myself? That people have been saying
where you've been making it almost painful.
Yeah, it is. It's
for yourself.
It's been.
See, what I'm saying is that's not metaphorical. That's literal. Our creation is communicating with us. When we initiate things, our creation responds. When I brought that up, because you were very obviously there was attention being drawn to this. The whole point was that you were responding to what I was saying. You were thinking about what I was saying, so you were initiating this as the creator, and then your creation was saying, okay, this is all great and well, but you've been making it painful to try to get your attention.
Right, that's true. That's very true.
We would look at what we want instead of what we don't want. Rather than saying, don't do this, don't do that, when they're only wanting our attention, then we tell them what we'd like them to do. Then they can do what we'd like them to do and get our attention. Again, thinking of the world as our creation and we are the creator, all it wants is our attention, because that's existence itself. That's everything it wants. That's where fulfillment comes from. That's where life comes from. That's everything. So if we look at what we want, we're basically saying to our creation, if you do that for me, you make that happen, you give me that, I'll be really happy. And you'll get all this appreciation and gratitude and so forth from me, which is what your creation wants. More attention from you. Great. Obviously just like a kid wanting his parents' attention. So alternatively, you focus on what you don't want. You're not actually giving any indication to your creation or your pet or your child or your significant other or anyone about what you actually do want.
What if you don't know what you want?
Then you ask yourself, what would I like?
Okay.
Because your creation can let you know. Your GPS can give you an idea based on everything else you've asked for. We can offer you some experiences and give you some possibility of determining what you want. But if you say, I just don't know what I want, you leave it at that, that's your destination. I don't know what I want. As opposed to, I'd love some clarity about what I would like. And then you start to see things, and then you start to say, yeah, a little of that would be good, and that thing would be great, and I actually really want this. I didn't even realize I want this. But you can't do that until you're open to the experiences that can be offered to you, so you can see what you want.
I was just going to say, I believe that everybody really does know what they want, whether they realize it or not. Yeah. Whether they're willing to look at it and accept it or not. But I think everybody really, on some deep level, you know what it is you want.
Be connected to yourself, though.
Yeah.
It's that we're actually getting something from staying in the confusion. Mm-hmm. And so we hold on to it, which is like what Shani was saying before, which I want to just bring back to because it's so related to this theme. Obviously, all of this discussion is about what it is to be powerful and what's holding us back from feeling powerful. And this connects back to what Shani was saying, that ultimately about the idea that we would want to hold on to our old beliefs because it gives us some sense of control.
And we ignore our feelings that are telling us that these beliefs are not necessarily accurate or true.
Because
like,
it seems like
know?
they're a threat to our
Yeah.
control. And notice that this is confusing control
Where's that
and powerful.
Yeah.
Like, what is actual control? That's why in the meditation I was saying, being in control without exerting any control, without having to control anyone. That we're confusing control and powerful, that ultimately we try to hold on to the things that actually are negative, confusion, negativity, beliefs that are holding us back. We hold on to them because it gives us some illusion of control. We ignore our thoughts, our feelings, our instincts that are saying, no, that's not really what you want, because we're like,
it could be that way.
it could be this way, it could be that way, because then that's a threat to our control as the creator who is now in not a very positive place. You know, like, no, I need to be in control. I can't work with you because then I won't be in control. If you say this, you're threatening my control. Notice then it's like king and followers, and then you have rebellions. You don't want to force control by looking at what you don't want and then trying to force something different. You want to guide toward what you do want. And then you get willful, you get followers who want to follow you rather than followers who want to rebel against you. You don't need to fight with your servants, your messengers, your significant others, your friends, your pets. You don't need to fight with them to get control. True power comes from looking at what you actually want and guiding them toward that and encouraging them and motivating them and appreciating them and showing gratitude toward them and ourselves, because then we just go there because we're getting what we want. There's no need for any kind of battle or forcing of control. So forcing beliefs, forcing things to happen a certain way, holding on to confusion, these are all control. These are all attempts at control by exerting control, by looking at what we don't want and then trying to create something different.
Because we feel powerless.
Because we feel powerless, but really we only feel powerless because we're identifying with our creation, but we're trying to be the creator.
Right.
If we were connected to the actual creator within us, we'd feel powerful. We wouldn't feel like we need to assert any control. We'd just look where we want to go and everything would work out just fine. But when we're not identified with being the creator, but we're trying to be the creator, and this is the threat, this is the seemingly threatening thing to saying that in some way we are God, that the highest part of us is God. Because when you do that, then people start to think, oh, you're shrinking God down to me. I'm God? Like, you're getting rid of God if you're saying that I'm God. But then what happens is, then you're saying, so then people are going to like just try to control everything, thinking that they're God from this ego place, from this like, I should be in control of you because I am God. But that's not being God. That's not connecting with the God within you. That's being your creation and trying to be God. When we're really in tune with the idea of what it means to be connected with the source of existence, then we recognize that all we need to do is look a certain direction, and the whole world will accommodate us. We don't physically assert our control within the physical world. We guide the whole world from its origins in our internal workings, where we just look a certain direction. We give our attention to something. Then the world will start to shape to become that, and then that is what it is to be God, where we expand ourselves to God. We don't shrink God to us. So when you're actually connecting with the highest part of us, we're expanding ourselves to God. We're recognizing that we are not just this physical being, that we are everything, and that we transcend this, so we don't need to start trying to force things to happen here, because we could just guide them to be something else before they ever come here. This is just the crystallized form of everything. It started as a thought in your mind. You can't experience anything that didn't begin as a thought in your mind, fueled into being with a feeling, and then with instincts that led you to actions that led to things happening. Ultimately, if you recognize that everything began within you, and the world is just a mirror of the internal, the external is just a mirror of the internal, it's just a reflection, then we don't need to try to control anything anymore, because it doesn't make any sense. You don't force the reflection in the mirror to change. You change, and the reflection changes. You can try to change the reflection all you want, and it will not change if you try to change it directly. But if you change, the mirror must change what it's reflecting back at you. There is no other way it could be. And so when we recognize this, we don't need to force control. We simply are powerful.